The major reason why we like to indicate that chronic stress is not compulsory and that you can prevent it is because for a stress response to occur, you need to indicate to your mind that you are in danger. You have to think that there are some threats on your survival, that you have some problems that are trying to threaten your survival or threaten your well-being. And so you need your body to help you through a flight or fight response to be able to take care of these stresses or these threats to your well-being. So there must first be a perception of a threat or a danger on your life. And so then the stress response is supposed to be a protective mechanism, is to help you to fight that danger that is trying to threaten your survival or threaten your well-being. And that is why there's this individual factor at play here, whereby your perception of a threat, whether it's real or imagined, is key to provoking a stress response. And these individual factors depend on, number one, your belief system or your conditioning about what human problem is, and also how much capacity you have developed in order to overcome stressful situations or to cope with stress or to prevent stress. It is not everybody that sees snake and the person thinks that I'm in danger. There are some people who eat snake. So while somebody sees snake and sees danger requiring a stress response, another person also sees snake and sees food. It is not everybody that is afraid of heights. There are people that you put them in an airplane and throughout the flight, you measure their blood pressure is high, their breathing rate is high, their muscles are tensed. They are in a fight or flight mode because they are afraid of heights. Look around, there are some who are enjoying the journey. They are looking through the windows, some chatting with people sitting by them and so on and so forth. These are different people responding to the same situation in different ways. That is why in health, we don't like to think that two patients are exactly the same. Sometimes we have two patients who have hypertension and the way they respond to the disease are different. So we like to say that sometimes it is much more important to know the kind of patient who has a certain disease than the disease the patient has. Or more appropriately, you can say that as much as it is important to know the disease the patient has, you must also know the kind of patient who has the disease. So you have a person that comes to your consulting room and then you tell the person that you have hypertension. Depending on the person's belief system and how much capacity this person has developed, mentally, emotionally, financially, socially, and so on, this is a person that will just tell you that, oh, okay, I have hypertension, what's next? And then you outline some management protocols for this person, and that should be it. You can have another person that comes and then you tell this person that, well, per the BP apparatus reading and also looking at the normal that is given to the human being as normal BP, your blood pressure is above the normal, so you have hypertension. Depending on the person's belief system and how much capacity the person has developed to handle such a disease, the person may start negotiating with you and may be thinking that you are trying to impose a disease on him or her. And this is the kind of person that may live with a lot more worry and anxiety, and the body therefore prepares this person through the stress response to fight this danger or to run away from this danger. So this is a person that is not just having a physical disease called hypertension, but this person is also going to have a stress response as a result of how the person thinks about the disease. And this stress response can either worsen the disease, hypertension, or can lead to other medical conditions that can affect the person's overall well-being. And that is why we say that stress is not compulsory. It depends sometimes on the person. Now, if you know this and then you want to prevent stress or address issues of stress, then you have to understand that there's an individual component when it comes to managing stress. Your beliefs or how you're conditioned about human problems. And then number two, how much capacity you have in order to handle stressful situations. Unfortunately, we focus so much on capacity. So if somebody has a problem or thinks he or she has problems, then this person is thinking about how he or she is going to solve the problem spiritually or financially or by some other means. So we are usually asked to look for solutions to our problems, develop capacity to handle these problems, take it to God, take it to somebody, do something about it. But One thing we don't usually do when it comes to managing stress is to ask ourselves the important question of why am I calling this a problem? Now, the reason why you have to also adopt the habit of questioning what you refer to as problems is because if you honestly look at what we refer to as problems, they can be classified into two major groups. There are things we call problems that objectively most human beings will agree that they are problems. So issues that border on human survival, for instance. So if you have challenges with finding food to eat, a place to sleep, having clothes to wear, health problems, problems that border on some disasters or tragedies, hurricane, floods, your house is on fire, somebody dies, you've lost a loved one. I don't think there is any rational, sensitive human being that will not refer to this as problems because they threaten your existence. If you don't have food to eat for a long time, you are not going to live. They threaten your physiology, how you function as a human being. So there are problems that border on basic needs, survival, making a living, livelihood, and so on. These ones, objectively, we can describe them as problems. They are naturally problems. They are real problems. Then we also have another group of problems that come from how we are made to see life, how society conditions us to see life, to get to understand what society admires, some standards society admires a certain kind of people who have money, who have some positions, some possessions, who know important people, who belong to certain groups. Problems that are associated with stereotyping, your skin color, your tribe, your ethnicity, your educational level, gender, and so on. So these are also problems in the sense of they are standards created by society that we have to work towards them. So it is a problem because a gap is created between what is ideal that society expects you to attain and your reality. So before you admit that your life is under threat and you are in some kind of danger and you need a stress response to help you fight that danger or that threat to your well-being, you need to first ask yourself the question, what kind of danger are you talking about? Are you referring to survival problems, problems that threaten your livelihood or your being alive or surviving? Or you are talking about problems that are created in your mind because of a certain conditioning of society that makes you think that you have a lot of problems or there's something wrong with you. Ideally, what you need to do if you want to manage stress or prevent stress is to admit that the only human problem that you acknowledge are survival problems. So if a problem does not threaten a person's survival, being alive, making a living, livelihood that has to do with basic needs or survival needs, you don't see them as problem because they don't threaten one's survival and being alive. Then all the other problems that come from conditioning of the human mind by society, you call them scams. You call it a scam because your skin color, which is not a direct threat to your survival or being alive, your skin color will not kill you. Yet you are supposed to see it as a problem and think that you must lighten it. If you don't lighten it, you have a problem. That is a scam. If you are made to think that there's something wrong with your body shape, and so then you have to feel bad about yourself and do all kinds of things to your body. And if you don't do that, you have a problem. That is a scam. Any problem that borders on stereotyping must be of a certain gender, educational status, you must know some important people, belong to important groups, be of a certain race, of a certain tribe. Otherwise, there's something wrong with you and you have problems. These are the kind of problems we call fake problems, artificial problems, or scams. So you are not going to add them to the problems that you give your mind to consider as you being in some kind of danger that you need a fight or flight response to address. The only problem you see as a human problem is a problem that directly affects your survival. And this borders on your basic survival needs. It is not compulsory that you must have a problem. You must not insist you have a problem or you are in some kind of danger that you need the body to help you through a stress response. If you don't have survival problem, I will advise you to stop thinking you have a problem. In that sense, the only thing that you need to do with your life is to live a life of gratitude and appreciation. A life of gratitude towards God and appreciation of God. Gratitude and appreciation towards yourself. Gratitude and appreciation towards other people. And gratitude and appreciation towards life itself. And also do something to solve human problems, to promote human well-being. So stress is not compulsory because there are individual factors that borders on your belief systems or your capacity that determines what you call danger to yourself. But if you're able to reconsider the things that you call problems and redefine them to mean that the problem is what threatens your survival, the basic needs that threaten your survival that you don't have, and that every other problem is what you have been conditioned by stereotyping or societal conditioning to believe that they are problems. And then you call this category of problems as scams, that they are not real problems, they are fake problems, they are artificial problems, and focus on just the survival problems as real problems. You are likely not to have a lot of problems. In that sense, you are likely not to always give the impression to your mind that you are in some kind of danger and you need help through a stress response to address. The whole idea is that you don't want to provoke a stress response when in actual fact you are conditioned to think you have a problem to solve. And so you are in some kind of danger and they are not real problems. You don't want to create a stress response with imagined artificial problems that are created from the conditioning of your mind. Then at the end of it all, it affects your health and longevity.